Hi guys, welcome to For Those Who Code. In this video, we'll be learning how we can make a workable searching mini application with React. Here we'll get into code on building a fully functional React search from scratch so that you can learn how to build one for yourself. You can also find the link to the code down below as well. So let's get started. I've already bootstrapped my project with Create React App, and I've added some dependencies ahead. And dependencies which I have added are Axios, Bulma, Node, Sass, and these are major three dependencies that we need. So let's go ahead and start our application with yarn start, and then we can move ahead and add some components that we need first. So I'll be adding a folder name components. So inside here, what I will add is we need a search bar. So I'll make a component and call it search bar, and the component name must be a uppercase. So I'll add a React functional component here, and inside here what we can do is search bar would be fine, and inside here we can add another div with a class name of control, and then some classes are already predefined by our Bulma framework, which is the CSS framework that we are using right now. And we can also add an input here as well and give it a class name of input, and then a type of text and a placeholder. Search your movies. So we'll be adding a movies API. So for that we'll be using open movie database that I'll be using, and we'll discuss that as well. So I think for now our search, before that I will just add this and export default search bar. Let's go ahead and add other component and name it card.js, and inside here I will add React functional component, and inside card we can give a card a class name, and then the name would be results card, and inside here we'll have figure and give it a class name of image and is 48 into 48, which is predefined Bulma classes. So we need to close down the figure as well, and inside here we can have an image, and we can also add some heading for this one as well. So h4, enclose h4, and inside here we can have movie title, and then add a span tag, and inside here we can have year of movie, which is, let's suppose we are 2020. I think this will be fine for now, and then let's move ahead and create a card list component as well. So card list.js, and we will also use React functional component. By the way, for this particular extension, what I'm using is I'm using ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native snippets, and which helps us to like add in some cool keywords, in a sense, a short form of what we need in our application as well. So inside our card list, so we'll add a class name and give it a name of result. By the way, this should be, and then we can have our card component right here and export default card list. So we need to import the card component that we made as well. Import card from card, and then card list, card, and then card and search bar. Okay, our components are already made, and we made some static components right here. And let's go ahead and import our static components inside our app.js file. So inside here we can see a loader, so we don't need any of these. So for now I can delete all of this stuff right here, also even the logo as well, and also the CSS file as well. So inside here we can import our components that we made. So let's import card list from components and card list, and then let's also import the search bar as well. Import and let's go ahead and add a container for this one, and we will, for that we will use a Bulma class, and add a container class and search app as well. So inside here we will add a heading and give it h2, and then give it a class name of predefined Bulma classes, which is title is 2, and then has text center. So inside here we can write something like create React search with context API and hooks, and right down below we can import our search bar component as well, and down below the search bar we can add our card list component as well. Let's go ahead and save this, and right here we can see our React search, but we don't see our container applied. So for that I'll check whether the Bulma is imported or not. Seems like we have successfully imported our Bulma file as well. Before adding functionality to our application, let's discuss about what endpoints are we sending our search query, in a sense, which are typed inside our search field. So for that, we will be using the OpenMovie database, and taking a look at how we can use this particular endpoint. It's send all data requests to opendd.com and the API key, which will be our key, and then we can add some parameters like and s option as a parameter, and then get a movie title which we are searching for, and in the response we can also get an image and the year of the movie as well. So let's create an API key that we need. So here is our API key that has been sent to us. So let's confirm our API key by clicking at this link as well. So now our key is activated. So we can use this particular endpoint into our application to get the list of movies that we want. Keeping this aside, we can go ahead and create a folder and name it API. So inside here, we will add a folder, not a folder, but a file name, and name it movie source.js, where we can use our endpoint that we received with our API key as well. So right here, as you can see, it did already made a request from the browser itself, but for that we can grab this much as our base URL, and we can treat this as a base URL. By the way, we also need Axios, so we have already installed Axios, which I have discussed inside the package.json file. So we will go ahead and import Axios as well. Axios.create. So Axios.create is a method which is provided by Axios library, and we'll add our base URL here as well. So right here. So I think we are okay for now. Let's go to our search bar.js, and inside here what we can do here is we can also let's first bind this value that we typed in. We'll be using something like useStateHook. So for that we can create a constant, and the constant would store the value of the search field. So we'll be sending this as a prop to our app.js file as well. So and then we will create another variable, and we will be maintaining the state that's written inside our search field as well. So set search text. Let's go ahead and add some handle input field, so we can have on-change handler to our search field as well. So which should be we'll be invoking a function and call it handle input. So inside our handle on key press, we'll be monitoring whether the users press the enter key, and later on populate the list with the data as well. So I think we also need a value, and for the value we can use search text, which is this search text, and we haven't set the state of the search text. So let's go ahead and add our constant of handle input, so which will take an event as a parameter, and we'll be using fat arrow for this one. And inside here we can store our value that has been typed, and we can access it from e.target.value, and which will be assigned to this variable that we defined. By the way, we will be using the text and here, and then let's also define another constant, and inside here we can add a condition. If the user have pressed the enter key, we will invoke that particular function that we created, the key enter, and then on search we can pass down the search text right here. So everything looks fine for me except some indentation, and then props is not defined. Okay, we need to, by the way, we haven't passed down props to this particular component, so for that we must we receive props from this component, from app to this component. So we haven't passed down props from the app component to search bar, which we'll be adding soon. Usestate is not defined. Yeah, okay, let's import usestate as well. So usestate is an alternative to React Redux library, and which is really helpful for us to making our small and medium-sized application. So yeah, let's go ahead, and for these errors we need to address them, and inside our app.js file we need to like send them a prop from this particular file. So for that one, I will also import first of all our movie source, the base URL file that we have made, API, and then movie source. And then inside here, what we can do here is we can add a constant, and inside here we can preserve the state of the result that we need from the API, which will be like staying, or which will be inside an array of result. So we'll have a blank array for that one, and we will go into our API endpoint and fetch some data and store it into our results array. So everything looks fine. We can also create another constant and name it on search, and we'll be using async await for this one because it will return a promise for us, and then we will use some fat arrow, and for the results I will await the results, which is from the base URL that we defined, and we will use .get method for it. If we look into the documentation, then we can find so API key and your key, and parameter would be s, and also we can send the parameter of our API key as well. So for that one, we can write something like add some parameters of s, and then which would be the text, and then I, which would be, let's copy this one so that we can, it would be easy for us to take a look into this one as well. So let's copy this particular I as well, and we'll send them as a parameter, and also we need to add the API key as well. And the API key that we received through our email confirmation is right this one as well. So everything looks fine for me, but we can keep this as it is for now. And let's go ahead and add us on search and pass down on search as a prop to our on search bar component. I think this should be results, and then this will be also results. By the way, we haven't used set state, so let's set state the result property to our state up here. So set state, we should take the previous state. We can write prav and then state, and then use a flat arrow, and inside here we'll return the previous state. We'll use a split operator for the previous state, and then we can assign results to results. Use state is not defined, so for that one you also need to import use state up here. So I think we don't have any error except the ESLint error state is assigned but the value is not read. Alright, now we can also pass down props to our result, because ultimately the card list must get the list of the cards which is inside the state. So for that one we will add results is equal to state dot results, and then everything looks fine. So let's go inside our card list component. So inside here we can like get the prop that we passed in from our app, which is results, and take down the props inside here. For taking out the props we can also use props right here, but we'll be using object destructuring for that one, and take down results in here, and then we can also write down let data is empty, and if result dot data could be data dot results dot data dot search, which can be initially null as well. So let's first console log the data right here. Console log the data, and then we can later on pass down the data to our card component and map it down as well. So for now I think we are pretty much okay for this particular part, results data search. So it would make sense if we see the data. Let's try out our search functionality. So we can write orange, and successfully we get the data. So right here, I need to point out a line which we added results.data.search. So why I added that particular line is, if we take a look at the response, then if we write orange and press the enter key, then we can get the data. And if we take a closer look at the data, then we can see search, and inside here we have our data. So that's why we wrote results the data search. So if we just print the results, then it would be nested inside some object wrapped by data. So press the enter key, and then right here we can see the data, and then inside data we have search, and inside search we have our objects. So search is an array. So what we need to do is we loop down the search array and then print out inside the card component. So for that one, we need to map down our data. So data dot, by the way, data dot map. By the way, I will figure out the indentation. I've used pretty behind the scene, but sometimes it doesn't work. So item, and then we can use fat arrow right here, and then inside here what we can do here is pass down our card component that we made as well. So inside our card component we can receive or send down prop. So a card component is like looping, so we need to add in a key so that it becomes a unique identifier for the list. So IMDb ID is the ID that we have in the response object or the response array, and then a movie we will send down item as a prop as well. So I think we are pretty much okay for our card component. So inside our card component we can add in some dynamic values to our movie title and the year and the image itself. So let's go ahead and receive the data that we passed from the card list inside here. So we can write props, and then inside here we can add a variable, and then destructure the props that we receive, and just take the movie out of it. We can also add a source to our image that we use, and inside alt also we can add the same movie dot title, and the movie dot title can be also replaced with hard-coded movie dot title as well. And inside here we can add movie dot year, which we receive through the response as well. I think we are pretty much okay with the card component as well. So let's test out our application, and then we can write something like orange right here. Okay, great. So as you can see right here, we can like successfully see our response data. I think we have pretty much completed our basic search functionality with React, and then we can also uh, try out a different search as well. And you can see that in the response, we can get the list of the movies as well. I hope you got some initial ideas on making a basic search functionality with React. I would love to hear what do you think about the videos, and let me know if I can help you in debugging issues in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys want to learn more about code, design, and anything more, please like, share, and subscribe with a click down below. I'll be trying to make more better videos like this. So see you in the next one.